basket. Then that basket would still remain an object of longing even after the jewel had been taken out of it, since one would remember that that jewel had been placed into it. Just so, in that place where this perfection of wisdom has been observed, these physical or mental ills and troubles, whether caused by humans or non-humans, cannot affect the sons and daughters of good family. And great jewel is a synonym for the perfection of wisdom and the cognition of the all-knowing. One cannot enumerate the qualities of the perfection of wisdom, for they are innumerable. Innumerable are the qualities of the other perfections, too. The Buddha Dharmas, and so are those of the cognition of the all-knowing, of the realm of Dharma, the fixed sequence of Dharma, of suchness, of the reality limit and of the unthinkable element. These qualities of the cognition of the all-knowing are the reasons why the relics of the Tathagata who has gone to parinirvana become an object of worship. These relics of the Tathagata are the true repositories of the cognition of the all-knowing, of the forsaking of all the defilements together with their residues, of the ability to always dwell in even-mindedness and of the state of being always mindful, and that is the reason why they become objects of worship. Weakly strong. Sakra. These relics of the Tathagata, O Lord, are the repository of the precious perfection, of the perfection which is without defilement or purification, without production or stopping, without coming or going. They are the repository of the perfection of dharmahood, because as pervaded by dharmahood do they become objects of worship. Moreover, O Lord, if, on the one side not only the great trichilicosm, but all the countless world systems were filled to the very top with relics of the Tathagata, and if on the other side I were offered a copy of the perfection of wisdom, then of those two I would choose the perfection of wisdom. And why? Because from it have come forth the relics of the Tathagata which become objects of worship only because they are saturated with the perfection of wisdom. If someone honors, reveres, and worships the relics of the Tathagata, then as a result of his wholesome roots he will experience pleasures open to both gods and men. And he will make an end of ill after having experienced pleasures in the families of warriors, Brahmins, and wealthy householders, and among the gods of the four great kings, too. The gods who control enjoyments magically created by others. But if someone learns this perfection of wisdom, too, wisely attends to it, then he can fulfill the perfection of meditation, too. The perfection of giving, the 37 wings which lead to enlightenment, too. The 18 special dharmas of a Buddha. He can transcend the levels of a disciple or pratyeka Buddha. Enter on a bodhisattva's special way of salvation. Acquire the super knowledges of a bodhisattva. Pass on from Buddha field to Buddha field. And take up at will all kinds of personifications which enable him to mature beings, whether he appears as a world ruler, or as a warrior, Brahmin, or wealthy householder. Therefore, O Lord, it is not that I lack in respect for the relics of the Tathagata, or that I do not want to be involved with them. But obviously it is because of the perfection of wisdom being honored, revered, and worshipped that the relics of the Tathagata are honored, revered, and worshipped. Moreover, those who want to see both the Dharma body and the physical bodies of the Tathagatas who abide in countless world systems in all the 10 directions and demonstrate Dharma, should listen to this perfection of wisdom, learn it, too. Wisely attend to it. If someone wants to see those Tathagatas, he should, coursing in the perfection of wisdom, develop the recollection of the Buddha by way of 2 kinds of dharmas. Which are the 2 kinds of dharmas of the Buddhas and Lords? The conditioned and the unconditioned dharmahood. What then is conditioned dharmahood? The cognition of the 18 kinds of emptiness, of the 37 dharmas which act as wings to enlightenment, 2. Of the holy truths, of the unlimited, 2. The Buddha dharmas. And also the cognition of the wholesome roots, be they with or without outflows, faulty or faultless, worldly or supramundane, leading to defilement or purification. This is called the conditioned dharmahood. And what is meant by the unconditioned dharmas? That dharma of which there is no production or stopping, no stability or instability or alteration, no defilement or purification, no diminution or growth. 2. Of all dharmas the non-existence of own being. And what is of all dharmas the non-existence of own being? The 18 kinds of emptiness. The fact that all dharmas are empty of essential original nature, have no basis. 2. Are inexpressible and incommunicable, that is called the unconditioned dharmahood. Medium strong. The Lord. So it is, Kausika, so it is. All the tathagatas owe their enlightenment to this very perfection of wisdom, whether they live in the past, future, or present. All the disciples and pratyekabuddhas, past, future, or present. All the disciples and pratyekabuddhas, past, future, and present, owe their special forms of enlightenment to it, and thanks to it the other holy men at all times win the fruit of a stream winner. 2. Arhatship. And why? Because in this perfection of wisdom the three vehicles are explained in detail. But by way of indicating no sign. By way of non-production and non-stopping. Non-defilement and non-purification. By way of not affecting anything. Not by way of toiling or withdrawing from it. Not by way of adding or subtracting anything, not by way of appropriation or non-appropriation, and in any case only by way of worldly convention and not as it is in ultimate reality. And why? Because in the perfection of wisdom one does not conceive of a not beyond or a beyond. A shore or a gap between two shores, even or uneven, sign or signless, worldly or supramundane, conditioned or unconditioned, wholesome or unwholesome, past, future, or present. Nor does the perfection of wisdom bestow any dharma, also not the dharmas of pratyekabuddhas or the dharmas which constitute arhatship. Strongly strong. Sakra. A great perfection is this perfection of wisdom. For when the bodhisattvas course in it, they can wisely know the thoughts and doings of all beings. Although they do not apprehend a being, a living soul, a personality, a man, a human, a young man, one who does, one who feels, or one who sees. Nor do they apprehend form. 2. Enlightenment, or one who is enlightened, or the dharmas of a Buddha. For the perfection of wisdom has not been set up by taking anything as a basis. And why? Because that own being does not exist and cannot be apprehended, nor that by which it could be apprehended, that which could be apprehended or that wherein it would be apprehended. The Lord. So it is, Kausika, so it is. In this way the bodhisattva who courses in the perfection of wisdom by way of taking nothing for a basis does not even apprehend enlightenment, how much less the dharmas of a Buddha to be. Sakra. Does, then, the bodhisattva course only in the perfection of wisdom, and not in the other perfections? The Lord. The bodhisattva courses in all the perfections, and not only in the perfection of wisdom, but without taking anything as a basis. He does not apprehend the perfection of giving, a donor or recipient. Not the perfection of morality, nor one of good conduct, nor immorality. Not the perfection of patience, nor one who is patient, nor that which has to be endured. Not the perfection of vigor, nor that which has to be done, nor body and thought. Not the perfection of meditation, nor thought, nor trance. Not the perfection of wisdom, nor one who is wise or stupid. But it is the perfection of wisdom which directs and guides the bodhisattva who gives gifts, guards his morality, develops patience, exerts vigor, enters into trance and has insight into dharmas, though without taking any dharma as a basis, from the skandhas to Buddha dharmas. The trees of Jambudvipa have different leaves and foliage, different flowers and fruits, different heights, shapes, and circumference, but with regard to the shadows cast by these trees no distinction of difference can be apprehended. But they are all just called shadows. Just so no distinction or difference can be apprehended between the five perfections. All of them upheld by the perfection of wisdom and dedicated to all knowledge, because of the absence of a basis. Praise, eulogy, and glorification. Praise. Very weak. Sakra. Endowed with great qualities. O Lord, is this perfection of wisdom, she is perfect as in possession of all qualities, endowed with immeasurable, inconceivable, incomparable, infinite, and boundless qualities. Let us again consider two people. One has made a copy of this perfection of wisdom and bears it in mind. Recites and studies it, also honors, reveres, and worships it, with flowers, and wisely attends to the perfection of wisdom as it has been expounded. The other, having a copy of this perfection of wisdom, gives it to others. Which one of the two begets the greater merit? The Lord. I will question you on this point and you may answer to the best of your abilities. What do you think, Kauzika, if one person were to honor, revere, and worship, with flowers, the relics of the Tathagata? And if another person were to give to someone else and share with him a relic of the Tathagata only as big as a mustard seed, with the result that its recipient would honor, revere, and worship that relic of the Tathagata as big as a mustard seed, which one of the two would beget the greater merit? Sakra. As I understand the meaning of the Lord's teaching, compared with the one who by himself honors, the relics of the Tathagata, the one who gives to another a Tathagata relic only as big as a mustard seed will beget the greater merit. When he considers the state of affairs, the Tathagata, having entered on the adamantine trance and having made his body also adamantine, generates the relics of a Tathagata of his great compassion for the world of beings and leaves the Tathagata relics for those beings who can be disciplined. And why? All those who after the Tathagata's parinirvana worship a relic even as big as a mustard seed produce a wholesome root of which the end cannot be reached until they themselves win parinirvana. The Lord. So it is, Kauzika, so it is. The son or daughter of good family who honors this perfection of wisdom, and gives a copy of it to someone else, begets the greater merit. Moderately weak. Moreover, someone will beget still greater merit if, having given to others this perfection of wisdom as it has been explained, he will expound it to them. One would expect him to have found a teacher, or a succession of preceptors who represent him and who lead a spiritual life. And why? For this very perfection of wisdom should in this context be regarded as the teacher. Nor is the teacher one thing and the perfection of wisdom another, but just the perfection of wisdom is the teacher and just the teacher is the perfection of wisdom. And why? Because those who have trained in this perfection of wisdom will appear in the world as the Tathagatas of the past, future, and present. And also those bodhisattva who, in possession of the superknowledges and leading a spiritual life, have one after the other stood in irreversibility, have fully known the supreme enlightenment while training in this perfection of wisdom. In just this perfection of wisdom have the disciples trained. And through it the arhats have attained arhatship. The pratyekabuddha, the enlightenment of a pratyekabuddha, and the bodhisattva have entered on their special mode of salvation, enter on it, and will enter on it. Therefore, then, someone who wants face to honor the Tathagatas should honor a copy of this perfection wisdom. Considering also the state of affairs, it occurred to me when I had known full enlightenment. In dependence on which dharma should I now dwell, which dharma should I honor, revere, and worship? On perceiving that I had attained to the highest prominence in the world with its gods, Brahmas, and Maras, with its Shrimanas and Brahmanas, it occurred to me, I will now honor, revere, and worship that dharma through which I have been full enlightened, and I will dwell in reliance on that dharma. But that dharma, that is this perfection of wisdom. So I honor, revere, and worship this perfection of wisdom and, having done so, dwell in dependence on it. How can it be that those who want to know full enlightenment should not honor, revere, and worship this perfection of wisdom? And why? Because those who belong to the vehicle of the disciples and pratyekabuddhas should honor this perfection of wisdom. And why? From the perfection of wisdom have the bodhisattvas come forth, from the bodhisattvas the tathagatas, from the tathagatas all the disciples and pratyekabuddhas. Therefore then both the followers of the great vehicle and the followers of the disciple vehicle should honor this perfection of wisdom, and, when they have trained in it, they know and will know the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. End chapter 31. Note: Buddhists may get more benefit from listening to the sutras actively by reading along with a peaceful voice, and walking on a treadmill very slowly to avoid drowsiness. Keep this in mind. Wishing or dreaming to do the goodness is the first steps of doing good. It does not matter one can do it or not. It is the same for wishing to become a Buddha. Bodhisattvas are those people who vow to gain enlightenment in order to bring about unchanging happiness for all living beings.